Okay, love, this is really important. Coming to you from Eve's Eden. How do you, how do you not allow the whole fact that we've got to protect the planet now with all our might, make it feel like you've lost your freedom of choice about what you do with your life? How do we change this so that you don't start feeling like, gosh, I've got to do this thing and sacrifice why I'm here, who I came to be, all my dreams and hopes? It's really important to understand that you came here for the reasons that this life is evoking from you. So the talents, the gifts, the longings you've always had, whether they are mathematics or psychology or being a singer or a dancer or a painter, whether they are political activism or not at all, they're about cooking. Whatever your gift is, whatever you're called to do, do that. Do that. But do it in service of this movement, okay? Take this as the opportunity to have a community, finally, a world community that's all joining together to create a life of love and connection and a circle of gifts that are being passed and shared, just the way that an economy of trading would be like. You came in with specific gifts that are meant to be shared, and they're meant to be shared on behalf of saving humanity. Okay, so you couldn't have a more epic time to be born, a more important mission. Say your mission is cooking. Imagine if you went around to rallies and you were feeding people who are on the front lines, or feeding the police to include them in the human story. Or if your cooking was for dinners you were hosting to show, say for example, Al Gore's movie, The Inconvenient Truth sequel, or Michael Moore's movie, Where to Invade Next, which shows all the world solutions all over the planet that we in the US have completely missed the boat on and could still join with. You could be cooking dinners for those kind of events. It doesn't matter what your gift is. You might think it's irrelevant. The point is that we do all need to do some going and doing some intense activism together. We need to do some things where it's just civil disobedience and getting imprisoned, along the way. Say each of us did that once. Say you just get imprisoned once, and the rest of the time you support others to do the same. That will be enough. It will be enough if you keep going and supporting the others. So you can do it once. I'm gonna do it once. That's gonna be enough for me. But I'm dedicating the rest of my time and the rest of my life, the same thing as I've always wanted to do, my puppet shows and my videos and my music and dancing and hosting community. Now it actually is fun because it has a purpose that is so potentially potent and powerful, because when we come together, we're reinventing the world, we're reinventing the planet, we're coming up with solutions to what got us here in the first place, and how do we arrange everything that we've done into a whole new order, because we have to, because we have no choice. You see what an incredible time this is to be born, and how everything you ever wanted now comes into play. Say you were a gardener and you wanted to be a farmer, and now the climate has gone whack and you can't be a farmer because you can't rely on the weather. Well, I know one farmer, he's moved everything he does indoors, and he's now got a winter garden. Other farmers who now are becoming climate activists, who speak about what nature tells us, and what gardening practices tell us about what is needed for the soil and rejuvenating the earth. This is a momentous time for your gifts. So just allow the life situation to allow you to have a more powerful channel for everything you ever came here to do and to be and to have, okay? And the thing that's going to happen for you that did not happen for me, but now it will, is that you're going to have community. Yes, because when you have a community united in one thought, you really get to have some incredible friendships. You get to go on adventures to places where you have rallies. You get to have create new ways of living life. You get to protest and do something powerful and intense, like going to war, that people never forget these kind of experiences. It bonds people together on a deeper level. And if you're a man who thought you were going to be a warrior for the planet, you were going to be a hero by going to war, this is your chance to be much more brave, okay? Because if you start allowing yourself to be on the front lines of being arrested, you can help some grannies and some mamas who don't really want to go there, and you can take their place. You know, people who are frail and delicate, who will really get hurt. You can be that hero, and what's going to take more power from you than you ever imagined is not being violent, is to go onto the front lines and withhold your violence and be a hero through heroic peace by being completely neutral, receiving perhaps violence from police or the situation, but not responding in violence. This takes such a big, epic level of strength, right? And it's so beautiful because, you know, as men, a lot of times you have so much testosterone, so much energy that's physical. It's almost like you guys seem like you look forward to war. You're like, yeah, we're going to pump iron. And then we're going to, gonna ride that boat. And then we're going to like carry that equipment. And then we're going to crawl through the mud. And you're doing it not really because you want to kill anybody, because you want some exercise. And you want to be that hero who is physically engaged with the adrenaline of the testosterone violence that's gonna, fight somebody, wrestle somebody. So to be the guy who doesn't do that, but takes that heroic energy and actually, brings it where the women and the children are on the front lines that really need your protection. This is so needed. A really good example of this is just a couple of days ago, there was an altercation in my front yard between two dogs that were starting to fight and a man that started to get really, really violent and upset about the whole thing going on. And I was trying to be an intermediary between the people and the dogs. And pretty soon the man was like kind of being threatening to me. And another man came over, seeing what was happening, and he just stood there peacefully, reflecting to the guy who was getting really kind of violent and yelling, what you're doing is scaring the women. What you're doing isn't appropriate to speak to an old lady and a young woman like that in an overbearing manner. And it was so beautiful because this guy's presence was calm and neutral.